Okay, I just received the spray car, if you will. It's the water vapor smoking radio controlled car from Amazon. The one that's $6.29. And of course it's free shipping if you have Prime or know someone who has Prime, or if you're willing to buy like 5 of these to meet their minimum dollar amount. Compared to the first unit, the one that I bought on Walmart.com and I could also find on AliExpress for $7 something, then $5 shipping, so we're up in the $13 range. This isn't built quite as well if you're actually going to give it to kids, but since we just want this to tear apart for the parts, if you want to make your own DIY robot that's radio controlled and has a fogger smoke effect, it's kind of hard to beat $6.29 for all of that stuff. Now, when mine arrived, this part here is supposed to be screwed on there, but it was snapped off in shipping. So again, if you were buying it for a kid, that's a problem. If you're buying it for you or me, it's actually a blessing, because I'm going to tear it apart anyway. Nice thing about this particular one, there's actually 2 screws on the bottom and you can get in there, and I removed the 2 red LEDs, left them here. I'll use those for another part of the project. And I could actually see how they did the chamber for the effect. On the inside, the circuit board itself is different than the other one. It's a new layout. It's not as small, but it's cleaner. It's easier to see what's going on. You still have your 2 motors, which you could use for your robot project, and the whole remote control board. The battery door on the bottom is a little more flimsy, so if you're actually buying this for a kid, I'd probably buy the one that costs more money because the battery doors are stronger. Just like on here, it's kind of a flimsy little battery door. Not quite the same quality, but the chips and the electronics are the same. I like this layout a little bit better. It's your forward, your reverse, turn left, turn right, and then your fogger smoke effect. So you have your normal on-off here, and we won't be driving it forward or backward because we're only interested in the smoke effect. And there you can see, if you click it, it really puffs it out. Now this one turns off after about 15 seconds. The other one would run about a minute. See, it just shut off, so if you wanted to turn it on again, you'd have to re-energize it. But actually, I don't think that's a problem. That works out quite well. As far as the motor control goes, there's your rear wheels forward and backward, and your left and right. And like I say, both of those controls could be used to run other things. You could do walking. You know, you don't have to have the forward and backward. You could actually use that to run 2 motors. So you could have walking and something else. And the steering could be 2 motors. So I mean, basically with this control, if you wired things up correctly, you could have up to 4 different actions or light functions or whatever you want. And let's just say 4 different functions besides the fog smoke effect. And it came with this little squeeze bottle, which of course you just squeeze and then hold and suck a little water in. Doesn't hold a whole lot. You've got the same silicone rubber type cork on the top to keep it contained, and it doesn't seem to leak at all. Now, if the only thing you're interested in is just the smoking fogging effect, then over here, this little unit, actually I got one in the bag, might be easier to show you. These are like a buck something each off AliExpress. You can just find them in smoke, fogger, spitter, all kinds of different words. I bought these actually a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly. Has a mini USB connection there, but I just soldered wires onto that, and you've got a switch here which you can click for different RGB colored lights and functions. Then here's the actual piezo device that's atomizing the water to make the smoke vapor. So I took one of those and made a little 3D printed chamber, and the water hole's right here on top, and I put some water in there. I've got it connected to 3 batteries here, And here's the switch over here. And as you can see, it's spraying out pretty good. I really need a dark background for you to see the spray. And every time you poke it, you can get different light effects. But it has a timeout function too. When it's been on for a certain amount of time, it's going to go off. I haven't investigated getting this to going to the fog mode on power up. Right now it does take a button push to start the functions. I think one of them had one where it would pause and then smoke. There we are right there, where it purposely pauses and then smokes, as you can see. I get a dark background. Can we see it better? So it's another alternative if you're just interested in adding a mist smoke effect to your robot or whatever space project you got going, your DIY project. You can find these separate little units if you do some searching. I don't have a link because I actually bought that so many months ago that even if I had a link, it wouldn't be valid anymore at this point. If you're just looking for getting a complete unit tank, the atomizer, radio control setup, I don't know how you can beat $6.29 for something you can kit bash and use for your projects.